Hi, I'm Laura Hill, and I study population trends, education, and immigration at the Public Policy Institute of California. California's population grew by about 1% last year to 38 million, and we're the nation's most populous state. By 2025, our population is projected to be about 43 million, and we're adding about 350,000 residents annually. That's nearly a city the size of Bakersfield every year. We're an increasingly diverse and aging population, and these things are going to put pressure on existing infrastructure and public service, such as education, housing, and health and human services. I'm going to talk about three things today. First are the drivers of population change. Second, I'll talk about our increasingly aging and diverse state. And I'll conclude with our distribution throughout the state, and finally end with some ideas about the future. There are three contributions to population change. Those are births, deaths, and migration. Most recent growth comes from births, more births than deaths in any given year. But prior to 1990, most of our growth came from migration, and most of that migration came from within the United States rather than from outside. In the last 10 years, most of our international migration has been offset by migration from California to other states. However, projections for the future show that international migration is expected to increase somewhat. The drivers of population change in California have historically and currently contributed to our state's diversity and our population aging. No ethnic group is currently a majority. The Department of Finance projects that by 2016, Latinos will be the largest ethnic group. Right now, even among children under the age of 12, Latinos are already the largest group. Asian Americans have been increasing in their number in recent years as well. These demographic changes stem in part from federal immigration policy and somewhat higher birth rates among some groups of immigrants. Fewer births and increased life expectancy means that California's population is aging. California's aging is somewhat less rapid than that in the rest of the United States, and that's due in part to our large immigrant population. Recently, we've seen an increase in the size of the population that is aged 65 or older or of retirement ages. By 2025, we expect that share will have grown to about 16% of the population. In 2010, they were 11% of the population. The population of women of childbearing ages has increased somewhat, but not very much recently, and that paired with lower birth rates to women means that the population of young children is growing somewhat slowly. We expect this group of young children to grow only by 2% in the next 10 years. And where do Californians live? Well, coastal areas are still the most populous part of the state, but more rapid growth is occurring in the inland part of the state. In particular, the Inland Empire, the San Joaquin Valley, and the Sacramento area is projected to grow more rapidly than the coastal areas. In the last 2 years, the counties with the highest growth rate were Placer and Riverside counties. Los Angeles is still the county with the most population of any part of the state, with nearly 10 million residents in 2011. So what does this all mean for California? Well, there will be some increased pressures in health and human services, and I'll talk about Medi-Cal as an example. As the population ages, we can expect more older Californians to need more health care. And while children are by far the largest users of Medi-Cal, their enrollment rates are higher than those for older Californians. The cost for each over age 50 Medi-Cal enrollee is about 5 times the cost for each child enrolled. In terms of the housing market, we expect that the population that's in their prime household formation ages, or those people between the ages of 25 and 39, is going to grow, perhaps as much as 30% between now and 2025. This is great news for the housing market and housing prices, but less so for the people who are actually trying to find those homes. Finally, we expect the slower growth rate of school-age population, about 2% over the next decade, might provide the opportunity for schools to play a bit of catch-up. Perhaps per-pupil expenditures can increase in the coming years instead of the decline we've seen recently. Looking forward, we can expect California's population to continue to grow, continue to age, and become diverse. Thank you for listening.